All right. Okay. Hello out there. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for yet another Office Hours, Solace Office Hours. I am Aaron from Solace. It is July 23rd. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Today we're kind of not going to be talking explicitly about Solace. We're going to be diving into the world of SAP, AEM, Advanced Event Mesh, the SAP Event Portal, and looking at Integration Suite with some iFlow code generation. So I'm quite excited for today's episode. And to help me with that and to actually do most of the work, I am joined by my colleague, Dennis. I'm going to bring you on here. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Where are you coming from?
Well, I am located in Pennsylvania in the United States, and I'm an architect on your team, Aaron. And I've had a pretty big hand in generating this or creating this code generation software. But I work on I do all kinds of projects for Solace, but this is my latest, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yep, all kinds of cool prototyping kind of code and like kind of get things out rolling fast. From what I remember, this is a new program, a new project that we're working on. It is in beta, and we're hoping that other people are going to try it and give us some feedback on it. And we're here to kind of show it off a little bit today.
All right.
So hey everybody, thanks for joining. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Twitter, and also on the Solace community. Link down there. If you're not a member of the Solace community, please head over there and sign up. It's where we talk about projects like we're working on today, where we do early advanced releases of questions and answers, a bit of people ask questions there, and yeah, it's where we hang out and answer questions. So make sure you sign up for Solace community, and if you enjoy this video and the office hours, make sure to give it a like and join our channel on YouTube and all that stuff. So Dennis, I'm going to put my, oh, by the way, I'm in Vancouver. I forgot to say that. I'm on the other side of the country, so, or the continent, I guess. So it's early in the morning here for me. Whoever's joining out there, where are you joining us from? I know that people are watching. Put it in the chat. Say hello. We are all we're hoping we're live. We are live, and we are hoping for some questions from people out there. So yeah, please don't be shy to say hello and to give Dennis and I some questions. So Dennis, I'm going to go ahead and share your screen here, and let's get this going. I might interrupt you for time in chat. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat here and maybe ask some other questions anyway. So over to you, Dennis.
Okay, sounds good. So you can see my screen?
I can see your screen. Looks great.
Okay, great, because I can't see you. All right, excellent. So like we talked about, I'm here to talk about the iFlow code generator for SAP Integration Suite, how that works with Advanced Event Mesh. So what is the purpose of this thing? The purpose is to provide value to SAP IS developers working with Advanced Event Mesh. So the idea here is to accelerate your development activities and provide the most frictionless development experience that we can. And obviously, we want to minimize your time to value. Really, we want to make things as easy as possible. I mean, that's the goal here: to make it easy, to make it quick, and to make it productive. So the other part of this is that we are establishing a method for defining, developing, and deploying our event-driven applications. So a key component of that is the SAP Event Portal, where we can define applications, and I'll give you a little bit of insight into that. And obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but obviously to me, we do want to keep this thing open. In other words, we want to keep the code generator open in terms of open source and open in terms of we would like your feedback. We would like to know what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, what we can improve, and your suggestions are certainly valuable. As Aaron mentioned, this thing is in beta. So, any feedback that you can give us at this point would be very helpful to, and we'll actually, it's a good time to give us feedback because it's in, it is in beta. It's in the fairly early stages. Yep. And, and any feedback that you have now will help us to, to roll out a better product. And, the earlier you give us the feedback, the better, or the more positioned that feedback is to having an impact. So
yeah, the people want to kind of get in there and give this a try, and early adopters, shall we say, right? So
Yep.
hey, I just want to give a quick shout out while you take a pause there for a second. Hey to Nick from Georgia, thanks for joining, and Barris, hello from Istanbul. Excellent. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining. Thank you for joining. Are we going to include the GitHub link? At maybe we can put it in the chat later on, or we can we'll post about this on Solace Community, obviously. So
absolutely, yeah. I'll show you how to download it, and then yes, posting a link into this chat would be ideal.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. So yeah, we'll do that shortly.
Okay.
Okay. So we talked about method. So the idea is that inside of Event Portal, you have what we call an event catalog. The event catalog is just a list of events, and we define events at Solace as, effectively they're things that happen, right? But they have, there's a topic address, there's a schema, and there's some business context that goes around it, right? Yeah. But this gives you a list and a way to discover those kinds of events. And then using those events, you can design applications inside of the event portal. And using those designed applications, we can create AsyncAPI. And then we have this code generator, which then goes out and gets this AsyncAPI and then develops an iFlow, which then
for those people who don't know what AsyncAPI is, by the way, sorry to cut you off there, Dennis. Okay. But if people are probably familiar with RESTful applications, RESTful APIs, OpenAPI or Swagger, as it used to be called, is a standard for helping document these interactions, these RESTful interactions. So several years ago, a coalition of people got together and decided to design one for the asynchronous world. So AsyncAPI is the purported standard for helping document, design, and describe event-driven publish, subscribe, either publish or consume interactions applications. So it's a standard, asyncapi.org. If you want to learn more about that, check it out. But that is the kind of the underlying, I guess, template or schema definition of these applications that we can have in Event Portal and then do our code generation from that.
All right, very good. Thanks for the context, Aaron. So no, that's good. Sometimes I forget because I live and breathe this stuff sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
and it's like, oh, it's an async API. Who doesn't know that?
Who doesn't know what that is? I mean,
right,
the name kind of helps out. At least it's in the name. It's not like some code name like Tiger and people don't know what that is. But we are going to be showing this in just a little while. We just got a bit of slideware here, so Dennis is kind of setting the stage. But we are going to go through the whole thing, and you'll be able to see for yourselves the SAP Event Portal.
All right, thanks, Aaron. So, yep. So based upon that, you can generate code, and then you can deploy that code, and configure the event brokers accordingly. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah. So and then you can kind of repeat that process. So I'm going to move on and get into discovering events. So this is kind of like what a page of Event Portal looks like. So this is a screen, and yep, a little snapshot here. We can give you a better idea of this, but the idea here is that, again, you have a list of events. Like we have these, order created, order packaged, order updated, order validated. And a lot of these things are going to use the same schema, but and they have like different technologies that they're associated with here that you can see. But then we have these topic addresses that are associated with them, and then you have the schemas, and then you can take these things, these atomic events, these business things that happen out in your environment, and then you can use them to design your applications. So this is what a screen designer of designing an application looks like in an Event Portal. So I'm not going to go into the depth of the nitty-gritty details of how you do that in Event Portal. Sure. Again, that's an expanded topic.
We have other videos on that, or maybe if I know we've shown it before. This is something that an application designer and architect, people would be wanting to document their application and the interactions between them. They would come in here and design these things with proper versioning and everything. I know that we've showed this before, and so if people are keen, well, put it in the chat if you're keen. I'm sure I can go dig up a video, but yeah, Dennis, we don't have to go into all the nitty-gritty of designing these things. We're going to assume that you have a very well-populated event catalog, since we've been using Event Portal for years, and we're going to just go and browse and find what we can find.
That is correct. So
Yeah.
yeah. So but this is what it looks like. So I mean, and I think it's important to at least grasp what's going on here, so that we have
Right.
we have these different events. The events can be associated with an application where you say, okay, I'm going to, I'm subscribing to an event, I'm publishing an event, and then I can define what's called a consumer. A consumer is, going to listen either specifically to the topics as a direct consumer, or it's going to be associated with a queue. And that's what this is. This is the actual queue that this application would be listening to. So
That would be for guaranteed. That would be for guaranteed delivery, which I assume most people, most of our use cases, most of our modern use cases are using guaranteed delivery, because we want to make sure that that message, that order, that transaction doesn't get lost.
that is correct. And I think that's I don't want to say especially true, but I guess in a sense it is especially true for SAP and iFlows. Is that
Right.
the primary use cases there are absolutely going to be guaranteed messaging. So the majority of applications that are subscribing are going to be subscribing to queues, not necessarily doing direct subscribes. So
that's right. And
this
the
is what
queue,
it would
the
look
queue
like.
is going to be having that subscription, and that's going to be what's attracting these events, these messages, based on the subscriptions that or the topics that we can see here in the designer.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on. So once you have your application designed, then we can go ahead and we can create some scaffolded code. And this is what the interface looks like here. And we will see this live, but this is just a representation here for us on the screen, where you have this. Right now, this is a Spring Boot app. We're looking at ways that we can make this, a little bit more integrated into the iFlow, integration suite world. But right now, this is in a standalone app that is used to generate code. And the way it works is that you give it an event portal token. An event portal token allows you, gives you access, grants you access to the event portal API. So once you put that token in, then it goes out and queries event portal. And then the way the applications are, and schemas and events are all kind of organized, are in what are called application domains. So once you have an application, this screen will pop up, and you can select which application domain that you're interested in. And then you can go ahead and select an application. And then, we do lifecycle management. So, and there can be multiple versions of an application. You select the version that you want, you download it, and then you can upload it right into SAP Integration Suite, and boom, you get your scaffolded code. And again, you'll see this happen in real time.
Very cool. Very cool. Shameless plug. Even if you're not using SAP, let's say you're an IntelliJ Java developer. I wrote a plugin for IntelliJ quite a while ago, about a year ago, I guess. And it is using the exact same RESTful API that Dennis is just talking about here. So if you're a Java developer like me, we also have plugins for that. You can actually browse the event portal, look at your application domains, your events, schemas, and actually generate Spring Boot code out of that as well. So multiple ways of integrating with the event portal and using it wherever you actually do your application development.
Yep. Okie doke. So So we're using this API in multiple ways, and this is another one of them, and it gives us really good access to pull down that async API that we've designed inside of event portal, and then generate our scaffolded code. So once we do that, then obviously it's scaffolded code. It's not necessarily functioning right out of the gate. You do have to do some things to it, but you can do these things to it, and in a few steps you can actually create a flow that is functioning and processing data. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do as well. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to test that.
Do a little test.
Yep. To test that, we're going to use a simple built-in tool that's it's built into the AEM, or I don't know why this is popping up now. Hopefully you can't see that.
Oh, I can't see anything.
So I'm getting notifications on my screen. I apologize.
All right.
So the
little try me tool built into the manager, the broker manager here, allows you a quick and easy way to inject a message or to listen to topics and listen to messages. Very easy way to kind of just do a quick ping pong type test. So
All right. Yep. So yeah, it's a nice little tool. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't used it, if you haven't tried it, it does give you a way, right out of the gate to just pump some messages in, see some messages come out, and you just test that functionality in a quick and easy way. So that's the mechanism that we're going to use today.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's it for the slides. So I'm
All
going
right.
to bring this down and.
While you're doing that, we got another shout out. Hi, Martin. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Wave emoji. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Yeah. Well, while Dennis gets his stuff set up. So, why would people want to be doing this? Well, I mean, you're building applications in Integration Suite. This just allows you a quick and easy way of like if your applications, your events are well documented. You can just go ahead and browse through the event catalog. As a developer, I'm like, what events are out there? Dennis talked about the application domains. Obviously, when you're developing applications and designing them and documenting them inside Event Portal, not everything is public. Not everything is meant to be shared outside of your application domain. Some of your events might just be for application. So you explicitly have to share events, and those are what gets made available kind of for public or greater kind of consumption. So as a developer, you might want to go and browse the catalog, search for keywords, and see what is out there, and just start to like be able to listen. I want to tune into that radio station, or kind of like listen to that hashtag, kind of from a Twitter perspective. That's kind of what we're going to be doing as what's available to us for building these apps and what code we can generate. Hey, Mark's here for the demo. All right. Yeah, none of the slides. Enough slides and talking. We're here for the demo part. So, Dennis, I can still see the slides on your screen. Is that what we're supposed to be showing? Wrong screen, maybe?
Wrong screen. Well, yeah. So you should not be looking at the slides anymore. I'm not sure what is going on. I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop my share.
Yep.
And I'm going to reshare it.
Yep.
And hopefully
when you shared, did you do entire? Do just a
I
single
did.
app?
I really thought I did it. Yeah, sharing entire screen.
Well, we'll just give it a second here, folks, while that comes back up. In the meantime, I'll do another shameless plug for the Solace community. Head over to solace.community, and if you have any questions or you want to like talk to us, all of us developer advocates, Mark, who just threw in a comment there from Florida, Tamimi, Giri, and Hari, we're all on the developer advocate team at Solace. As Dennis said, we're on the same team. We're part of the CTO organization, but yeah, a lot of Solace engineers, sales engineers hang out there, as well as our professional services team, and it's a great resource for people to kind of come and learn about Solace and talk about Solace. So.
Okay, so.
Oh, I see a screen coming up here. Yep.
Excellent.
Let's share that. Here we go. Booda boom.
Okay, so right now I'm showing you how to get to the code. Can you see me okay? It looks like my image here is a little bit choppy.
Your audio's fine, but yeah, your video is a bit choppy. So Dennis was saying to me earlier that yesterday I had some internet issues. So we're hoping that you're going to make it through today here. So yeah, but your audio sounds fine and your screen's coming through. So hopefully you don't have any video transitions or anything.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't necessarily need to see me. I think you're more interested about what's going on the screen.
That's right.
So this is the code project that is the actual. This is the code generator. So this is the project for it. So we can take this and post it into the chat.
Lives in our Solace labs. Yep, I can do that if or you can if you want.
No, you can go ahead and do that.
All right.
So if you can, you can do that. What I can do here is, so you don't need to clone this. I mean, you can if you would like to. That is your prerogative, absolutely. Again, it is open source. But in order to facilitate this process, we've actually created releases out here. And if I click on this guy and go out to releases and say, there's these other ones that are out here that are a little bit early, and we're interested right now in the latest one. Obviously, that's generally where you're going to want to be. I'm going to just go ahead and pick out the asset that I want, which is going to be the compiled jar. So
It's already
click on
version
this guy.
1 dot something. Oh, it's
1.0.4 dash
released.
beta. So,
It's
yep,
not
yep.
000 something something.
Yeah, yep. So that's the enumeration that we're on right now. So yep,
Right.
we are on 1.0.4 dash beta. But this
Beta.
code is now downloaded. So like I said, all you need is the jar. You don't need any specific any ancillary stuff to go with it. And it doesn't use any disk space. It's not writing anything to the disk, like other than maybe something back in temporary space. So wherever you decide to run it is perfectly fine.
You'll need a JRE, I'm guessing, at
Well, you
least,
do
though,
need
if
a
this is a
JRE. Yes, JRE
yeah.
is a key component of this. The JRE currently we initially were doing this in Java 11, but based upon some recommendations from one of our colleagues, we bumped it up to Java 17 as a minimum. So it does require Java 17. But once you have this code downloaded, so all you need to do to run it is just
You want to zoom in there a few clicks, Dennis, for us people that don't have as great an eyesight as you.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Can you zoom in a bit?
Okay, I sure can.
Nice. All right.
Can you see that a little bit better?
That's a bit better. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
you. It's not nothing complicated here. All you need to do is just run the jar. So not .java, it's the dash jar.
Dav jar. Yeah.
Yep. EP and run that jar, and it is a Spring Boot app, like I said.
Yep.
And boom, that's going to pop right up. And once that is running, then we can go and open up another window here.
So this is not a CLI tool. We're actually having a full-blown web app here. That's with GUIs and everything. It's so fancy.
Yeah, how about it?
Some people like CLI tools, by the way. I assume at some point this would probably be made available as a, well, I don't know. Would it be made available as a command line tool? There's probably too many things, too many options to kind of work through, I guess.
So yeah, that's an excellent question. I don't think that's the direction that we're trending.
Right.
I think it would really be based upon feedback. I mean, if there is feedback where people might tell us that, I just want to download a whole bunch of AsyncAPIs and I want to just run this thing sort of like scripted. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you would want to do that, a command line tool might be beneficial for that. I think where we are focused on this is trying to make this so that and a developer wouldn't have to necessarily download this onto their desktop and run it individually.
It'd be running somewhere. Yeah.
Like, what's the best mechanism for us to do that? I think is like that's where the conversation is going right now. But
and that's some of the feedback I assume we're actively soliciting. Like, would it be useful to have a command line tool? Probably not. But if people are out there and like, yes, we really need one, come tell us. Come comment on the GitHub repo. Come tell us on Solace Community. But or if you're happy with it as an available web app, either within SAP Event Portal or wherever this is going to live, then that's good too. All right. Yep, I can see
see my screen. So like I said, we do need an Event Portal token, which fortunately I do have.
What permissions do you need? Is this going to be read only generally? Because that's kind of what I do when I'm building my plugins. I mean, are we going to be doing writing as well?
Excellent question. So yeah, the permissions that you need to generate for the token would be all the read permissions for the event portal. I also recommend that you select the read permissions for the environments, because I think it's not doing this yet, but I think in short order we will actually be getting some data from the environments. And I would recommend doing the read permissions on the APIs. But I mean, to your point, Aaron, I mean, it is read permissions that it's not going to do any kind of updates into the event portal. So we're not going to be changing things, but we are going to be querying them.
Right. Yeah. And I've run into something where part of the response for these objects is like kind of last updated, created, updated by, and it's a user tag, and the user API is, I think, in mission control. So when I tell people to build a token, I just say choose everything in the read column. Don't try and pick and choose just event portal stuff, because a couple of the APIs are in slightly different places. So yeah, to Dennis's point, all the environment stuff, basically everything in the read column, and that is generated from within the event portal. Just going down to the little gear in the bottom left corner, clicking on generate a token. It's quite straightforward.
Okay. So once we have that token in there, like we talked about, we have our maximum read-only permissions assigned to this particular token, and once we click validate, it is going to immediately go out and it's going to query the event portal and bring back a list of, starting with the application domains. So here's the application domains. We have, this one has quite a lengthy description, so it kind of like takes up a bunch of the screen here. But I do have in here a demo.
Airline, some demo ones.
Demo iFlow codegen for shipping. And this is the one that I want you to see. So, I have it labeled appropriately here, I think.
I've labeled appropriately to make it easy to find, right?
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And
go back up to the top.
Going back up to the top. So I apologize, but my computer is not cooperating. It is functioning very slowly.
Yeah, it seems a bit laggy there. Okay, I was wondering if that was on my side. Okay.
Yeah. So it's probably not just the video. I think there's something going on in the background here that I'm not aware of.
Your virus check is kicked off or something this morning.
Yeah, perfect timing, right? Always. But anyway, so yeah, once you select the application domain, then you have whatever applications are listed in here. But before we actually go ahead and do the code generation, I just want to show you here that back here inside of Event Portal, we start our journey in the designer. So this is what I'm going out and querying. We have this.
You want to zoom in? Sorry, Dennis. You want to zoom in a click or two there? Just
yes, I can. All right, so let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, nice.
All right, a little better.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, awesome. So once we go into here, we have demo iFlow codegen, and this is what we are looking at here. And this is the application that we're going to be generating. So this is a shipping service. So obviously a fictional company, but this is a service that they want to generate code for, and they're going to consume an event called order packaged. It will produce an event called order shipped.
Yep.
And if I click on this guy and say open application, just like we saw on the screen, we can see that there are releases, or there's a retired version of this. So we're only going to have we're not going to have access to anything that's retired, but we do have anything that's released. We can generate a new application off of that, and we have the events that are published and I'm sorry, subscribed. Yeah, subscribed, and the events that are published, right?
Yep.
So if we go back to subscribe, we can hit consumers, and this is the queue that we should see in our generated code. So for that particular event, and then we should also see have the ability to publish out that event after we generate this code. Right. So this is what we're going to be querying. This is what's going to there's going to be an AsyncAPI generated in the background for this, and this is how we're going to generate our code.
Can you show the catalog feature as well, or are you going to do that later? I was just thinking, since we're already there, why not just
we're already here. Yep.
Because catalog is probably where more people are going to be browsing for things rather than poking around the designer, right? So
right. So when you start like we talked about the designing journey, you start with the catalog, which is where you have your events. And here we have our events that we had the order shipped. We have order reserved. If I go back to so we can discover.
We're browsing across all of our application domains right now, right? So if you have multiple demo, I guess, domains, sometimes it's hard. We'll have to kind of do a bit of filtering to figure out exactly which.
Yep. So there's and that's exactly right. So if I go back to application domains and I say the demo, and there we go, and then we should say here. So we have our shipment.
There we can see here. Yep.
Shipment created and shipment updated. So
That's right.
Yep.
So by default, you're browsing across all of the application domains that you have access to via your token and your permissions, and what has been shared, what has been made available for external consumption within those different application domains. So yeah, you could have shipping, logistics, manufacturing, blah 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 blah, and maybe if there are certain events that they want to publish and make available for other developers and other parts of the business, then yeah, that's how you come here and kind of browse, type in customer and see what kind of customer events are available, et cetera, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, here's how we can browse these. We can also browse for the applications. We can look for the specific schemas that are associated with it. So now that we're actually filtering on this particular domain, we'll see we have this JSON schema. There's another out here that was Avro, but this is the one that we're interested in. There's a JSON schema, and we have
the one app that we've defined. Yeah.
Yep. So
cool.
Yep.
All right.
And
so that's the portal, and so that's our kind of our SaaS view of our event, design schema definitions and all that stuff. And yeah, everything that you do in Event Portal is available programmatically. So the RESTful API, it's all well documented. Where can you find it? It's api.solace.dev. I don't know if there's an SAP version as well, but all of the REST APIs for the Event Portal are available publicly, and you can actually kind of test them out via this tool. So anything you can do here with your mouse, you can do also via APIs, and that's what this generator tool is doing and using.
Right. So we've established that we want to hit this application, we can go out and we can select our, say, shipping service, and we can download this guy.
Yep.
And once we download it, well, voila, there it is. So at this point, that's all it is. So at that point, we've identified the application, we've identified the version. This went out, pulled the AsyncAPI, and it generated our code. So that object that got downloaded is already boom. It's
so we don't have to do the extra step of actually doing the generation. This actually kind of takes that AsyncAPI and builds you your project file. I don't know what the terminology is, but it's already done. It's not a multi-step. Okay, very cool.
Yep. So if I go back into my downloads directory, which is currently busy, but if I go in here and create another version of that and just check it out, then we will have, this is what we just generated, right? iFlow codegen. This is the application domain, shipping
nice
service.
Short name.
Yep. Nice short name for that, but it's definitely identifiable. So there's that.
Yeah.
Once we have that, then we can go back into our. This is now we are in SAP. We are in the SAP Integration Suite, and I have out here in the SAP Integration Suite. This is not where I want to be. Here we go. This is I have. In here, there's these integrations and APIs, and then I have a little workspace in here called Test Importer.
Right.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Edit on this, and boy, this is being slow.
Dennis is slow. Demos, folks. There's always something that goes. If it goes perfectly smooth, something's amiss. So
my computer's going batty, so I don't know if
that's all right. It gives us a chance to pause and pop up a comment here. So from anonymous LinkedIn user, sorry we didn't get your name here. Hi, can we get a recording session for this? Yeah. So as Mark put in the chat there, this live stream, it will be available as a replay, as a recording, available both on our YouTube channel. If you just search YouTube for solace.com, you'll find it on our LinkedIn page, as well as at the Solace community. So when you log into Solace community, there should be a big banner at the top with this recording. And but our YouTube channel is maybe probably the best place to find all of our previous office hours and all the other videos that we produce. So thanks for the comment, and thanks Mark for responding to that. How you doing there, Dennis? I'm not paying attention.
That's all right. You don't need to pay attention. So no, let me hit edit again. Let's just see if this is going to pop up.
I'm assuming it's supposed to pop up right away, right? And
it should pop up right away. Yeah, once you hit edit, it should immediately go into edit mode. And let's see. So, and then actions should be highlighted, but it is really, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh this screen.
Yeah. Take your time.
And maybe it timed out in the background, and maybe I'm just waiting for nothing to happen at all. Yep, there we go. So, yep, let me try hitting edit again. Get rid of that. Edit. There we go.
Looks good.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah. So once we're there, we just hit add integration flow and upload, and then we hit browse, and then we can hit our generated artifact and open.
Zip file.
And
so it'll unpackage it. It's all basically structured in the way that Integration Suite is expecting this stuff, right?
It absolutely is. So once I do that, I can hit add, and my new service, shipping service, is now created. So if I click on this guy,
version 1.0.1.2, which is correct from.
You got it.
Oh, nice.
All right. So here we have. This is our generated code. So boom, boom, boom. Right. If you're familiar with the Advanced Event Mesh adapter, we can click on this guy and we can open this up and we can see, oops, have to make sure that you have it selected, and it's not always, there we go. We have the general, we have the connection, so we have to override these properties in order to see this run. But you can see that we have the queue that we identified in the event portal application has been imported, and this is the queue that the application will be reading off of. And we've generated some stuff here, and let me just take you through this. I am going to shrink this a little bit to make it so I can put the whole thing on the screen here.
Sure, we'll just squint a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, don't try to read these because I don't want anyone to become myopic or anything. But yeah, so we have a couple things that get generated. So there were two pieces here, right? There was the subscription flow, and then there's the publication flow. Now the subscription flow is broken out into two pieces. Right now, we have this process inbound event, and this is where we have the input queue, and then we have a validation map that gets generated. So based upon the schema that was associated with that event, we're going to validate that JSON. And then there's this piece here that's called business logic. Now this box is actually this box down here, right? Okay. So, or this whole thing. So really it's doing a call out to this as business logic for, if you notice, again, don't try to hurt your eyes, but the name of this is the same name that's here. So this is really calling out to this guy. And then we have the—
It's like a sub-state machine. This looks very UML-y.
Yeah, it's actually BPMN under the covers.
Okay.
So it's BPMN2 actually. That's what iFlows are. If you actually have occasion to get an iFlow, open it up and look at it, it's very lengthy XML with lots of properties and lots of things going on. These processes that are defined step by step. So that's it. That's the mechanism that SAP chose to use to build their iFlows. But yeah, so it does have that kind of feel to it, right?
Cool. All right.
But then we have down here, this is the output flow, or the publication flow, I should say, where the publication flow allows you to, do a mapping and then generate. There's a step here called generate order shipped event. And then again, if you notice this name, again, don't hurt your eyes, but is the same as this name. So this box here is actually represented by these steps down here.
Right.
So again, this is the scaffolded flow. And it's, it gives you a good starting point, but it doesn't work, 100% out of the box. So we have to configure it. There's some things that we have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do those. First,
well, before you jump in there, Dennis, take a pause, have a drink of water. We have a comment here from Linton. I'm just going to read it out because it's quite long. Great session, love it. One thing I'm curious on is for SAP customers, I would assume we could get SAP standard business events and view their schemas in the same place, or similar, import these schemas into Solace AEM, and get busy with some iFlow generation if need be. I guess I need to find the proper place for SAP standard business events associated with the event meshes on BTP. Now, thanks for the great question, Linton. Dennis, I mean, I'm not an SAP, knowledgeable person. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I would assume that to get events and the documentation into the event portal, I don't know if this would be happening automatically, right? Someone would have to probably import these standard business events somehow and kind of translate them, the definitions of them from the SAP BTP and get them into the event portal. Do you? Oh, whoa! And Mark actually wrote me back here. Even if you don't know, Dennis, look at that. Mark says you've read our minds blog and video on how to do that coming soon. All right.
Right.
Thanks.
So, and that's
Thanks.
my comment was going to be, and I was not aware of what Mark was going to say, but I mean,
Okay.
that is great feedback. And no, I am aware of the SAP business events, and you are correct, Aaron, insofar as that they are not currently represented in Event Portal, or they're not linked to Event Portal, which I think would
There's no magical ingest of that yet, right? So
today, right? But I mean,
today.
that's an excellent idea and excellent feedback. And the idea would be that yes, we do want to expose as much businessy type things that that are available, and make them so that we can integrate them directly into our code generator, because that's going to provide our customers maximum value. So
maximum
we'll
value.
make
That's
sure
right.
that's on the roadmap, because I don't know if that is specifically called out, but it's something that absolutely must be, right? So
totally makes sense. I mean, there's already lots of these business events already exist inside SAP. They're flowing around, they're firing around. It'd be great to have them able to be represented here in the event portal, and then be able to kind of whip out these apps quite easily based on that data. So, and just be able to search for them and browse them, right? That's a great use for even if you're not doing code generation, just being able to browse and discover the events that are available to you within your organization, just as a catalog is very powerful. So.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to do some tweaking here, I guess, to get. All right.
Yep. Yeah. So you'll notice first off, I mean, there's a couple of red X's here, and those red X's are due to, I mean, in the validation map, there is a known issue right now. I'm just going to cop to that right now. For these validation maps, they're not quite generating as properly as they could be. And what's going on is that like anything that's a primitive, like a property list on the top level of a JSON document, maps fine. But anything that's nested into either an array or into a complex object type, like we have with customer and with items here, they're not mapped properly. So the good news is that there's a very easy fix to that, which is we just put this in edit mode, we select this guy, and we go over to that map again. And if you're familiar with SAP, I'm assuming you're familiar with how to do this. We just draw the lines in. So, and I know this is not ideal for right now, and it's something that we will address. But for right now, you got to draw some lines.
So if you had a completely flat JSON object, this would not be required. This is only if you have like nested blocks and stuff.
That is correct. Yeah, or arrays, anything complex under the top level.
Okay.
So we say okay. Yep. And we save that, and then we should see that X disappear. So there is a warning that's associated with this.
Okay.
And to see the warnings, go over here to the problems tab. This is a warning that apparently is quite common and is actually not a problem according to the SAP documentation, but there's not a good way to get rid of it. So there's going to be a little exclamation point down here on this validate map. So anything coming in off the event mesh, and if you're not doing an immediate conversion on it, you will get a warning that it may not be correct. But
so it's gone from a red X to a warning because you had to manually update it. Is that it? And it's just not.
Well, no, it went to a warning because this is a warning that is going to show up on. Even if we did not have a red X, like even if this was a validation map that was mapped perfectly fine,
right?
You're going to see this warning on the first element that comes in off of the receive event.
Okay.
So it's something that I've checked SAP chat boards, and maybe somebody can tell me exactly, if there's a good way to get rid of that, but apparently it's quite common and it's not an issue. So
Okay. Okay.
it's
Good
just,
to
I'm
know.
letting you know that it is there, but you can ignore it safely, right?
Okay.
All right. So
But not the red X. Red X's have to be
yes,
addressed,
red
right?
X's are bad, right? Red X's
Okay.
keep you from running something correctly. So in order to get this guy to run, I'm going to pare this down a bit. So if you take a look at this thing, we have we have the validation map, and then we have this business logic step, and the business logic step has a stub map. And then also on the publication side, we also have, again, another stub map, which is a map that allows you to actually transform the data, right? But because we have one input and one output, we don't need to transform it twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this whole step here because we don't really need it. At least, as far as this particular flow, maybe in a different flow in a different world or a different service, it might be something you absolutely need. We do not here. So I'm going to take that and expand that out. I'm going to bring these guys up. And I'm going to, in fact, just take this. I'm going to eliminate this guy too, and I'm just going to turn this into like one long linear string here. So to do that, don't do that. So to do that is not terribly complicated. As long as I can select the things I want to select, then it's pretty easy.
So this is really drag and drop developing here. You're kind of rewiring this thing on the fly. That's pretty.
Yep.
If it's not obvious to people, I haven't
There we
I
go.
haven't seen Dennis's demo yet and played around with the integration suite yet. So I'm assuming most of the people watching this are kind of know exactly what you're doing here, Dennis.
Yeah, and I think anybody who's really familiar with iFlows they're going to know exactly what I'm doing. But I'm going to take so we have a validation map. I'm going to take this mapper, and I'm just going to pop it right here in the middle, and it's going to wire in for me. And I'm going to drag this guy over a little bit, give me some room, and then I'm going to drag this in too. And I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to plop that out, get rid of that. And now I have, basically I'm down to like these two flows, where one flow is going from, we're reading off of a queue, we're validating the data that we get off that queue, we're doing a map, and then we're doing this generate order shipped event, where where what this thing is doing is we are going to define the topic that we're writing out to, including topic variables. Didn't really talk about that, but topics, in Solace world can on the Advanced Event Mesh can actually have variables that are transported in the topic space as part of the metadata.
They are multi-level. Our topics are very well descriptive, very well defined, multi-level, and with the ability to filter at each level. You can wildcard a particular level, or you can subscribe to just one, just created or just new orders. But it allows you to build these quite complex routing topologies within AEM, where a topic could look like something like Acme company / shipping department / order / created / maybe even an ID number, right, as part of that topic string. Topics in Solace are meant to define and describe what's inside the payload of the message. They're not as simple label, just like orders, like they would be in maybe some other kind of event-driven technologies. So very descriptive topics, which allow you to have very specific filtering capabilities, and allows us to, and for that purpose, we need these kind of variable substitutions within the topic builder here in Integration Suite, right?
Great. Okay. All right. So
you've turned this thing into like a basically one in, one out type of flow, I guess, eh? So
it is, yeah, and that's really, I mean, if you look at the application as it's defined, that's exactly what it is. So what part of the reason why it's set up with that kind of like, all right, the input is its own flow and the output is its own flow, which you would not typically see, like that's not a real world type of a thing. But in in iFlow world or in SAP world, like a lot of these iFlows are are going to be, I don't want to say simple, but in a sense that they are, insofar as that typically what you're doing is you might have a microservice that's reading an event off the event mesh and then maybe updating a database, or so it's effectively a micro integration at that point.
Yep.
And on the converse, you can have a flow that's that's initiated by an application, maybe through an HTTP call or whatever, and then it's going to actually dump some data onto the event mesh where it might be consumed by multiple micro integrations. So really, like, having that two-part structure gives you where like the inputs and the outputs are kind of separate. Like, if you have things that are applications that are really like simple, like, that are either doing one or the other, then it kind of sets you up to do that. So if you have a more complex application where you're consuming an event and publishing, which I'm told, and I'm not 100% clear on this, but I'm told that that's less common in the iFlow world, that then I mean, you might have a couple extra steps to perform. So that's what we're going through here, right?
So this is more like the processor pattern, where like it comes in, you do some transformation or decoration or validation on this thing, and then you're sending it out on a different topic, on a different channel, I guess. Yep. But I can see here's a use case for maybe separate publish and subscribe, maybe like some kind of auditing app that's listening to all the new orders coming in. And maybe once a minute, it triggers a kind of status heartbeat, type message, right? So that they're kind of decoupled, where you could be listening to hundreds of events per second coming in, and then once a minute, it publishes some kind of aggregate event on the outside, right? So there's not necessarily a one in, one out type behavior. So you could do that as well, right? I mean, you can wire this thing up however you want, I guess.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, and certainly we are looking for feedback at this point because we at Solace are integration experts, I like to think, and certainly in the event space, but whereas we feel like we're knowledgeable of the iFlow world, we're not certainly not the experts. I mean, there are the experts out there in the world. It's helpful, to have that feedback to let us know that we're doing the right things, right, with this. So, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assign a constant in here, and I'm going to give this a status of shipped. So what I did here while we're talking is, I want to be mindful of time, but I set up, there's a transformation map. Now it's a little bit, I want to say not useful, but I mean, you do have the same input structure and output structure. In other words, you have the same schema. So I had to define the schema because the schema type on the input side was not known. So I defined that, and that is the same. It's the same structure. One difference is that the status is going from ordered to shipped, right? So we definitely want to update the status as we're processing the event and forwarding it on. So
cool.
I'm going to go ahead and say okay, and if I save that, then that red X over there should clear. Yep. And you can see that the red X's that were on this page are no longer there. However, we do have another red X up here on the upper left-hand corner, which is telling me that I have an issue. So in order to figure that out, we go over here to click on the canvas, and then we go back to problems, and you can see that we have something here, an unused resource. In other words, something that's not on the canvas is not properly set up. And if you recall, I deleted that one subflow that was in there, and that subflow had an unknown, or had a resource that we did not complete, and we don't need to complete it because we're not using it. So what I can do here is I can just delete it. No. And once I delete that, and again, you have to save to get those changes to be up to speed, and boom, then we should be good to go, right?
Wow.
So there's our completed flow. And to get this guy to execute properly, we need to see, we got it in the save state, and I believe that we need to do cancel out, and then we can go into the configuration. So the parameters that are associated with the input, which are the event mesh connections, advanced event mesh connections, those have been externalized. So I showed you earlier that we have the properties, and then we have so we have this topic, or this publish message, that we're publishing to, and then we have these connection details, and we have the host, which is, we need a server to connect to, we need a message VPN, which is Solace's terminology for a logical delineation, and then we need our credentials. So these things have to be, we have to provide overrides or connection details for this stuff so it runs. In order to do that, if I go up to the configure, which again, SAP iFlow people should be familiar with how to externalize variables, we go ahead and we add this stuff in. So I have my endpoint, which I've handily copied.
While you're copying things around, Dennis, I'm going to ask you a tricky question. Like, just because I know how the event portal works and we have these, like, the ability to model the actual run times as well, you can manage brokers from there and you can see these things. Is it also on the future roadmap that this type of information might be populated automatically if you have configured your iFlow generator to use a particular, say, this is my dev broker or mesh, and I know I want to go to that. Will that might this be able to be populated in the future?
So yes, that's something that we are absolutely looking at doing. So the AsyncAPI specification has the ability to identify or carry information about the endpoints, right? So there's this server block that you can define. So we would have the ability to sort of pre-populate some of this stuff in the future. So that's clearly not defined as yet. But yes, that is something that we definitely have on the roadmap, and I think we want to do that in short order. That's something that is, I would describe as imminent. Hopefully, I mean, it's not actually being done, but like it's something that's definitely like on deck, and people are interested in that happening. So we want to make that a go.
Right.
But for now, I'm going to configure this stuff. So I have my secure alias that is out there in that's associated with the iFlow runtime environment. So like you can't put a password in. This is the name of the server. The name of the server is the same as the alias for the password credentials. So if I go ahead and save that, and this is okay. So this is just telling me the warning that that little exclamation point I had on that one box
that we saw before.
But it's fine. So it's just like, this is like, okay, you have, if I had errors, they would pop up here. If I had warnings, because I have warnings in here, it's going to pop up here, but it's not going to cause me any problems. So this is now saved, and I can go ahead and close it. And with this saved and closed, I should be able to go out and deploy my flow.
Deploy. This is the acid test here, ladies and gentlemen.
The bane of the live demo, right? And so
the live demo, yes.
What did I forget?
We are live. Are we live? Let's see if it comes up. That's always a bit nerve-wracking when you're broadcasting here on the office hours. Now, obviously, while we wait for this to come up, I mean, once your event is on the advanced event mesh, it can flow to, using, going across clusters and go across regions. You can, consume it with other micro integrations. Part of Solace's kind of like vision of the integration strategies to turn your integrations at the edge. And so, if you need that data to go into another SaaS or another type of application, maybe it's not a Java app, right? I mean, these can all subscribe to this to these events. They just kind of flow wherever they need to go. The event mesh, the advanced event mesh, transports these subscription requirements around between brokers, so that if you are on a different broker from where that event is generated, the mesh just learns about who is, and so as long as you have the correct ACLs and the permissions are all set up, and the brokers are connected. If your data is being published over here in, I don't know, Japan, and you subscribe to it in Vancouver, the mesh will just learn that and kind of route that data to where it needs to go. So, you want to zoom in there one or two clicks there, Dennis? Sorry to keep bugging you about that.
No, because
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
I can
huge.
read it,
Nice.
right? So I just assume everybody can. Now, so
Here's
these
the
are
manager.
the queues that I created out here. So this is the input queue, and I created an output queue. So this is not actually referenced by the application, because the published messages will just be attracted to this queue, just so we have a place to dump them. But this is the this is the input, and you can see out here that we have an actual live consumer that has bound to that queue.
Right.
So
okay.
we should be good to go. So the next step.
So the other queue is just for you to listen to the data being generated by your little iFlow microservice thing here, right?
Can you repeat that, Aaron?
I was just saying the second queue is just for the point of being able to listen to the data being generated by your iFlow, right?
That's right. So I mean, we should be able to see the messages getting populated in that queue as we execute.
Yep. All right. Very cool.
But don't know if we're going to need to do that, because what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the Try Me tab, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to open this up, and this is going to give me the ability to publish some data in here. So
right, so we're using the Advanced Event Mesh's multi-protocol capability right now. So this is, you can see on the left there, WebSocket. This is a WSS connection from the browser. We're using, it's a JavaScript API connecting into the Advanced Event Mesh using the SMF wireline, but also supports MQTT, also supports AMQP, although not with WebSockets, I don't think. And so, yeah, you can have a JavaScript app here talking to the same broker as our Spring Boot Java app and being able to communicate back and forth. So the default topic there, try-me, that's a little bit too boring. We're going to replace it here with that multi-level topic that we were talking about earlier. Acme Retail Level 1, so kind of the company name, LOB, the line of business, maybe where it's coming from. The order is maybe what we're talking about, packaged the verb, and then a version. All right.
And
Dennis is filling all everything in. What is my region? Is that, I guess that's your region.
Yeah, so I can put in
/US.
I'll put in Pennsylvania, right? We're just just abbreviate that. And actually, I realized that there is something that I did not do. So even though the flow started up, we're going to have to redeploy it. But I'm going to go ahead and just get this stuff kind of like fired up here, so that we are ready to go.
While we're talking, so there's a little JSON blob that we're going to inject as our payload on the event.
So and this should be really should be the order ID. So we're going to go ahead and just put that in there, just so it matches the order. It isn't really referenced, but it's just it's helpful to have the full topic defined.
Yep, that's how you define your topic. So that's
And then we're going to go ahead and subscribe to our topic as well. So that this will show us the data that's popping out. So
if we want to be completely correct, if we subscribe to that topic directly, it's actually going to use a non-persistent connection to the broker. It's are you going to connect to the queue? Are you going to sniff the topic directly? This is
well, this is you know what, I can.
That's a direct subscription. Yeah, either way. I mean, they both work, right? A lot of testing tools. I mean, even if you're generating persistent data, you're publishing persistent quality of service, you can subscribe to that topic directly just to kind of listen to what's going across the broker. Or if you want a fully persistent consumer, then create a queue, add your subscription to that queue instead. And that way, if your app is offline or slow, data is queued up in that queue for you. Oh, we're going to do it the proper way. All right. So now we've bound to the queue, consumer active. And we should be able to actually see that if we went and looked at the queue, but don't really need to, I guess. So anything that the queue receives, we should see dumped out here.
That is correct. So if I go back up to manage and queues and filter these guys out, because there's a bunch of stuff out here.
Yeah, it's a busy broker.
Now I'm going to see a consumer.
There's your consumer,
so there it is.
and
so
it would be the little
Try Me in the Try Me tab.
Yep, cool.
But let me go back out here. So what I did not do, or because got to forget something, right? It's a live demo. What I did not do is that this we did set up this validation map. We did set up, or this is a composed topic script. This is actually a Groovy script, but what this is doing is, I mentioned that we have topic variables.
Right.
We need to define where in the payload to get our topic variables out, and this is what I neglected to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. But this is
distracting you, Dennis. Sorry, you probably had your plan, and I was yammering on here in the background.
Well, hey, I'll do what we need to do, right? So there's three different variables here. The first one is it will show up in every generated flow. Not sure if everyone's going to be crazy about the names here. Again, feedback is welcome. But this is the topic string that you expect to be published. So this is the full text of it. We have this Acme Retail, again, fictional company, online services, order, blah, blah, blah. And then you have these things that are out here in braces. The first one is region ID.
And these definitions for this topic structure, that's in the event portal. So like associated with this event, this is where this thing is defined, right? And this would be designed by the application architects as how their application is generating this data.
Right. So these we have to give values to these variables, and the way that you do that is that these pre-populated parameters are down here, where we have this gpath topic expression. This is kind of like a prefix, and then you can see that the name region ID and order ID, they're the same thing as the variables that we saw up here, right? So I know it's tiny on the screen, but maybe I don't know if take my word for it. But these
people are probably looking at big screens, hopefully, so not on their phones.
So what we need to do is for this order ID, I happen to know what the path is. It's kind of like JSON path, but without the $.. I just put in like the field. It helps if I hit edit. So let me do that. And I just change this to be the order. It's actually order underscore ID. And one thing I do know is that the other thing here is region ID. And region ID is actually not in the payload. So what I want to do is I want to set this out to I want to set this to a specific value, like a constant, in other words. But I'm going to code that in here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to change this from expression to value. And this stuff is documented, so you don't need to hopefully not write it all down. But then I'm going to change this
to watch this again.
a value. Yeah, or watch this again, right? I'm just going to put in Canada. Well, you know what?
Penn.
Penn, right?
Yeah.
Or Pennsylvania. We'll just go all out this time, right?
All
right. And then once this is in here, then I can hit save. So it should scrape out of the JSON based upon this topic, this expression, which is order ID. And then I'm using a value or like a constant, and it should be the value of Pennsylvania. So I'm going to.
So this is a huge thing, right? Is like the fact that we support these kind of dynamic topics, where literally every topic that you publish messages to could be different, could be unique if it contains an ID or if it contains a location or something. The ability to dynamically build these topics from the payload, from here's your event with its payload structure. I need to pull out the important pieces to build my topic structure so that my downstream systems that are listening to this flow can subscribe to the pieces and parts that they want, right? Or I can set up my routing rules based on the country or the location or the type of event that it is. So. All right. Fingers crossed here.
Wow, so I hit published, and
Yep.
I publish again and again, and we can see that these messages are actually popping out. We are consuming them from the queue, and you can see that I have the order structure down here. This is the message that it's not in pretty format, but it is here, and we do have the status, which was on the input packaged, has now been updated to shipped. So we know that our mapping has worked, and if we see the topic string that was published, we have topic Acme Retail Online Services, blah blah blah, Pennsylvania, the full word, and then the order number. If I change the order number, to change that, I can change it up here or not, and hit publish again, and then I get that order number, and I get that inside of the data.
So we're going from WebSocket connection through the Advanced Event Mesh into your Java Spring Boot app that's deployed somewhere. I don't even know where. Is it deployed on your local, or I don't know where it's
the code generator is deployed locally. Yeah, like I said, that's not the long-term view, but that's in beta. That's where we are right now.
No, but your app is deployed in Integration Suite, I guess, up in SAP.
Yep.
And then it's now going back into the Event Mesh and back to your desktop, your WebSocket connection.
Correct.
So multi-protocol, very cool. Wow. It would be nicer if that was pretty printed. Maybe we can raise an enhancement request and say, get your get this little try me up looking nicer. But yeah, it worked. Nice.
It worked. Yeah.
It did. Oh yeah.
Yeah. How about that? And
Yeah.
all in a live demo.
Yep. Wow. All right. Is that are we at the end of the demo? We are a little bit over actually. So
we are over, and we are at the end of the demo. So I know we have a couple of minutes. We can hang on and certainly answer any questions.
Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions. We did get a few comments, and like I said, yes, though the code is available on GitHub. We did post the link into the chat. Otherwise, head over to our Solace Labs GitHub repo, and you can find it there. Solace.community is your one-stop shop for learning about these things. So if you want to give us some feedback, or of course on the GitHub, you can post an issue there or chat with us. Yeah, Dennis, thank you for that demo. I'm sorry again. Yeah, sorry if I talked too much and we did run a little bit late. I know you were hoping to have this wrapped up within like about 50 minutes. So I don't know. I think that's my problem.
I mean, some things bear more explanation. So, like I said, I get tunnel vision. Things you experience every day, you don't think anything of it. You just kind of say it and like, whoa. Maybe not everybody understands.
When you live and breathe this stuff every day, yeah, sometimes you have to kind of back up and be like, all right, not everybody is breathing the same air there and everything. So, thank you out there to everybody who watched. Please drop us a like if you like it. We're happy to do these videos. I don't know what my topic's going to be for next month for August, but I'll be back. I'll be back in a month. I think I'll probably be in Ottawa at our Solace headquarters then. So I'm in Vancouver right now. But Dennis, thank you so much for doing this. You did all the hard work. Remind you to zoom in. So really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. Dennis, any last words before we hang up here?
Oh, thank everybody for your time. Thanks, Aaron, for the intro and for the lovely color commentary. I appreciate that. And hopefully we do it again.
Yep. And I hope people find it useful. That's all we're looking for. So give us some feedback and let us know. So thanks, everybody. See you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.